What's going on, everybody? Matt here, and today I'm coming with a little bit of a different video. We're kind of doing this more podcast style, and I'm joined with my good friend Joey,
Hi, how you doing?
and we recently watched Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, my third time and your first time viewing it.
Yes.
And man, was it a fucking roller coaster of emotions yet again for me, and I'm assuming for you too.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, so we watched it in 9 days, I want to say.
Yeah, about 8 or 9 days.
Dude, we steamrolled through that show.
Fucking worth it.
I know. But let's just jump in. I have a few questions for you. Just kind of want to get your feel, like, as like someone who watched it for the first time. First off, I loved your reaction throughout the show. There was moments where you were like, "What the fuck?" And other moments where you're like, "What the fuck?" But it was just great having just hearing your reaction throughout it. But what were your thoughts at the end of the show? How did you feel about the show from beginning to end?
Well, that's a whole different question. So from beginning to end or kind of at the end? Because
Let's start like it's the start of it, and then we'll just work our way through. Like,
okay. So at the beginning of the show, I was not expecting Alphonse to have that voice.
I remember that.
Straight up, I was just like, "This is what he sounds like. This is not what I expected."
I remember it was like the first episode, and he talks for the first time, and you start cracking up, and you mute the show, and you're like, "That's what he sounds like." I was expecting a deep voice. I'm like, "No, he's 14."
Yeah, so that was fucking great. What else? Seeing their backstory and kind of how everything happened to them was heartbreaking.
hmm
The whole thing with Nina.
I was gonna ask. I was like, I know that was one of the harder moments for you.
Oh
That
my
in Maze
God.
Hughes. I
Yeah.
think I remember you. We were like, "Oh man, I'm getting teary eyed." I'm like, "Yeah, it's a hard moment to watch." So
I gotta say though, the thing with Nina, I knew it happened. It's
mhm.
it's kind of the big thing of the show that I think is just kind of out there in pop culture. So I've seen it
Yeah.
at like conventions and stuff, but seeing it happen, just
I know.
I had to walk it off. I'm just like, nope. And then Scar comes in and kills her. Oh, fuck, man.
I remember that was the. I feel like that's kind of the reason why we watched the show together, because you sent me a video of like this poster, and it was like Nina transforming into
Yeah,
her Chimera form,
Alexander. Yeah.
and then you were just like, "I really got to check out the show." I'm like, "Fuck it, let's do it." So we checked it out, and then that happened. Um, but like I said, another big moment was Maze Hughes' death. How
Yeah.
did you feel about that one?
That one hurt. That one
Yeah.
really hurt. Hughes was probably one of my favorite characters. And just they do such a good job in this show of getting you close to a character and going, they're dead now.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, an episode can go from having like a funny moment and then 5 minutes later having one of the saddest moments in the series. I mean, the show is very good with emotions like that.
Yeah, jeez. What else? I gotta say the humuncu. I call them homunculi.
Mhm.
They are freaking cool.
They're cool, but also at the same time, you root against them.
Yeah, they are very good villains.
They are.
Like with Greed especially, like seeing him kind of do that turn towards the end of the show is very nice to see with the whole
Yeah.
Ling story arc.
hmm
But yeah, dude, it's just the characters in the show are just so good. Like Armstrong, definitely one of my favorite characters.
I was gonna say, I remember that first episode. You were like, "Oh, I love Charlie Brown because of this little curl." And another character I remember you right away. You're like, "Damn, he's badass." Was King Bradley.
Yes. Dude, his reveal of him being the being Wrath, that blew my fucking mind, because they released the Funko Pop for him a while back, so I knew he had the mark on his eye, and then once they revealed in the show that mark meant he was a homunculi or homunculus, I was just like, oh shit. This makes a lot of sense. I'm like, wait, he's a bad guy? And
Yeah.
all the twists and turns of the show. Like the one I really want to point out is Colonel Mustang.
Mm. Are you talking about with the lieutenant where he tortures
Yes,
her?
with Lieutenant
Yes.
Ross. You
Mhm.
guys, my reaction to that whole thing was fucking great.
It was great. I remember you're like, I hate Mustang, I hate Mustang. And then
I'm
I
like,
think it was the next episode they revealed their plan, and you're like, okay, I kind of like him now.
fucking genius. Oh my gosh, when he murdered Ross, when he murdered her, I was just like, this asshole, what's he doing? I'm like, it wasn't her. And then once it's revealed, like, oh, he just sent her away so that she could get out and fake her death. That was great. He immediately became one of my favorite characters. It was just that little flip of a switch. Yeah, I'd say favorite characters, Greed / Ling, definitely one of them. Alex Armstrong, Colonel Mustang, Ed, and Al. I think those are my top 5.
I think this show does such a great job with creating wonderful characters. I think each character is individually different and they're all lovable. I mean, there's obviously the ones that you're supposed to hate, like Shao Tucker, the military high ups.
Yeah.
The Hood Monkey lied to a point. But each character is so lovable in their own way and likable. And they each have their own traits that are just great. I know a character you were kind of iffy about in the beginning was Olivier.
Oh no, I thought she was fine.
Oh, okay, I was trying to remember. I was thought for a second you.
I thought she was kind of a hard ass, but I never hated her.
Okay.
I thought she was pretty badass. I was just like, okay, is she gonna turn on them or not? And then once they revealed she wouldn't, I'm like, okay. But I was just like, I didn't know how to feel about her because she came in the show at I think my least favorite part, which was the whole
we talked
North
about
area.
this a little bit.
So I don't know, like right during that fourth season or third?
It was kind of middle of the third when they go up north to Briggs.
Yeah, God, the show just slows down so much there. Like I'm just like, okay, can we get on? Because I feel like they spent too much time there. But it does. It sets up the rest of the story, and we need those characters, and we need that area, so it makes sense. But God, it was a pain. Like I gotta say, if I was watching the show normally and not binging it, I might have dropped off the show there.
Yeah, I understand because it goes from this point where Mustang and his team are going after that one lab. They're like in that one lab, and it's just like a lot of things are happening with Lust, Gluttony, Scar, Ling. And then you go to this point where it's like they go up north and it's kind of slower, where it's like they're trying to figure out and build everything that's going to happen in the future. So I do understand where you're coming from there.
Like they go really big with like plot elements, and they go really low with action. Like there's barely anything.
Yeah.
There's a fight with Sloth, but that's really it. There's nothing else that really goes on there. I'm trying to think. I love the relationship with Winry and Ed. That was great. The dynamic between the three of them.
Yeah, they're great. It's funny, each time I find, like, since this was my third viewing, each time I find something new to like about it, or something that shines a little bit more. And for me, this time, it was Winry. I think she elevated as a character on my list. And Kimberly. I think both of those characters, I saw them a little bit differently. I think they're kind of stronger this viewing, for me at least. I don't know, like I said, all the characters are pretty great in this show. Do you have a favorite moment and or fight?
Ooh. Oh my gosh. My favorite moment. Dang.
I know it's kind of tough. I kind of just threw you on the spot.
My favorite fight is definitely Scar versus Hugh.
King Bradley?
Versus King Bradley. That was great. I wish it was a little bit longer, but
Mm-hmm.
I like the fight. I think the best visual fight was actually no, screw that. My favorite fight was where it was like the final fight in the dungeon, or the main hub room, where it's Ed, Al, the teacher, Mustang, and May against Father
Oh,
and oh my god, I'm blanking.
Hohenheim? Or
Hohenheim,
that
and then God, what's the last one? Pride.
Pride?
Pride.
Oh, so you're talking about when they're underground
Yeah,
and
when
his
they're
like.
underground.
Okay.
I think that's definitely one of my favorite fights. The fight, like in the final episode, not the final episode, but the final fight that happens in the show, I thought was a little lackluster, just
Mm-hmm.
a bit, because it's like, okay, yay, he has his barrier up. I liked all the twists though that they did with like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
now your guard's down, but I don't know. I like the fight down the basement because you kind of see
Mm-hmm.
everyone like together trying to fight him off. But
I understand because it's hard. It's like, how do you fight God basically? And they did it. I think they did really well telling like, he can't contain all that energy, um, which I thought was very good storytelling right there. But it is hard. It's like, how do you fight technically someone who has the power of God? And I think they did it pretty good.
I gotta say, shoot, it's hard to pick like my favorite moment though. I think
There's so many great
that's the
moments.
harder thing. Like the first thing that comes to mind is when Al sacrifices himself to give Ed his arm back. I think
Oh
that's
yeah.
a freaking amazing moment. Another one is when Scar reverses, makes a reverse
Oh.
transmutation circle, and basically strikes Father. That was also great. Um, Another moment it's not a great moment, but it's an iconic moment, is when Ed and Al walk in and see Nina in the Chimera form.
Oh yeah. That one's kind of tough right there.
Um,
Um,
I'm trying to think of another moment.
I know a moment that I fell in love with this watch through was when Mustang goes and confronts Ed and Al when they first committed human transmutation, and they see him, and Mustang goes over and grabs Ed by his shirt, and he grabs him. He goes, "What the hell did you do?" He's like, and they're shivering. They're like, "We're sorry, we're sorry." And that moment really hit hard this viewing.
Damn, I didn't even think about that. That was
Yeah,
right at the beginning of the show too, huh?
that was like episode two,
Six?
maybe even
Was it
three. I
two?
don't know.
Okay. Yeah, no, I honestly forgot about that.
Yeah, that moment, I don't know. This time hit harder than the other two, and I'm just like, damn. There's a lot and a lot of emotion in that scene alone.
But yeah, I gotta say a moment that hurt a little bit watching was when the whole transmutation circle started that Father made, and like
Mm,
everyone's like captured, and like everyone fucking dies. Like everyone's soul gets taken from them and they're just dead.
yeah.
And it just pans. I remember the end of the episode just pans through dead streets of just people. And I was just
Hmm.
like, "Oh my god. Like what's going on?" Like I'm like, "They're going to reverse it." I'm like, "But how?" I think that was the biggest thing. It's like, "Okay, how are they going to do it?"
Hmm.
But it was kind of heartbreaking seeing Winry and her grandma
Yeah.
die. And I was just like,
um,
"Oh god."
how did you like Hohenheim?
Hohenheim, he was good. At the end, I was just like, "Yes, you're great." At, at the beginning, I thought he was the villain. I really
Yeah,
did. Like you saw me go, "Oh shit, he's not." I'm like, "They're not the same person." Because in the intros, it makes you seem like, "Oh, they're the same person," but they're
yeah,
not. And that twist, I was just like, "Oh shit."
yeah.
Yeah, but
I remember you were. It was like the one episode where Hohenheim is in the forest and he's looking over to Central, I think it is,
yeah.
and then we're gonna go in a little bit to go see Father, and you're like, he's not gonna be there. He's not gonna be there. And then Father walks in, you're like, what? and then he reveals himself to be father.
Yeah, and he had
Um,
no idea who Hohenheim was. I'm just like, oh, oh.
yeah, that was another great moment. But how did you feel about the ending as a whole, with that final episode where everything's just like wrapping up, each character's journey is finishing?
I thought it was great. I thought they did it really well. I kind of wish we got to see a little bit more of each character, a bit, just a little bit, like kind of
Hmm.
everyone give us like that, like bow for every character's story. I mean, we really didn't see Colonel Mustang at all. I don't think in that final episode.
Not much. It was just kind of him getting his eyes back and
Yeah,
Havoc getting his ability to walk back.
yeah, but like it was basically just Ed and Al, and it showed us them. But no, I thought it was a good wrap up. I do kind of wish they showed a little bit more of like how everyone else is doing. But I think they kind of touch on that in the outro, where it shows
Oh,
like
with the
pictures
photos.
of everyone's. Yeah,
Yeah.
I really love the picture of Ed, Al, May, Winry, and the Ed and Winry's kids. I think that's
Well,
like
the thing I love about that photo is we are showing this photo very early on of Hohenheim, and he has no
crying.
smile.
Yeah,
He's basically crying. And this picture is the reverse, where Ed just has this big smile on his face.
yeah, and I think they're holding the kids in the same exact way as the
Yep.
family photo.
Yeah. Great little details right there. I mean, the whole show is filled with little details that will just make you smile. But yeah, I think the finale, in my opinion, is very good at just tying everything, just finishing everything off. It doesn't leave any loose ends. It's like, this character went here, this character went there, and it kind of just finishes where you feel completed, I
Satisfied.
guess you could
Yeah.
say. Yeah, satisfied is a better word. Where it's just like, you know what? I don't need to see another story. I don't need a movie. I just feel like I'm just good.
I gotta say, I was surprised in the last two episodes, Ed losing his alchemy and giving it up for Al to come back, and then Hohenheim dying.
Hmm.
I gotta say, Hohenheim's death really hit me during
Yeah.
that final episode because I wasn't expecting it. Like I was like, oh, he'll sacrifice himself for Al, so Al gets his body back. But Ed and Al were just so persistent. They're like, we're not doing that. That's not how we work. But just seeing that he like hit the end of his story and he's just like, it's my time.
Yeah,
And
he
he
was able
goes,
to rest very peacefully. He saw his sons one last time. They actually acknowledged him as their father.
yeah,
Um, and it was just a perfect ending for him. He never thought he was going to be able to die, and then he finally got his wish. But obviously, he wasn't ready, or I wouldn't say he wasn't ready, but he didn't want to die. He wanted to continue living to see, spend time with his kids and whatnot. But it was, I don't know, it was just nice all around. It was sad and beautiful at the same time.
yeah. You know what? I forgot my top character of the show, Little Panda.
Oh yeah, Xiao Mei.
Number one, yeah, Little Panda. That's my character.
You mean the cat?
The cat, yeah, no, fuck that, Little Panda. When everyone was calling it a cat, I'm like, I get it. They don't know what the hell a panda is, but come on, doesn't even look like a cat. It's Little Panda.
Oh, one more thing I want to ask you. Favorite opening?
Oh god, I gotta say, I love the visuals of the final opening.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. I like how it had everyone. I mean, they each had everyone, but I think they presented them all equally
Mm-hmm.
in the final one. I need to listen to the openings again. I'm gonna say 2 for the
Two
song. For the song, yeah.
for the song, and then 5 for the visuals.
Yeah.
It's funny. I haven't told you this yet, but it's funny. In the first opening, they show young Hohenheim, and in the fourth opening, they tease at Ed losing his alchemy. I'll show you after this video
Oh
what I
shit.
mean, but it's really cool. Like they kind of tease a lot of things throughout the openings, and then you look back and you're like, I see that. I see that.
I remember young Hohenheim from the first opening. I remember that because I'm like, why are they showing an older Ed? I was
See, that was
confused a
my
little
thing at
bit.
the beginning when I first started watching. I was like, "Huh, Ed looks a lot different here," and then I realized at the end that's Hohenheim.
God, I need to see the tease of him losing his alchemy.
Yeah, it's his gate of truth disappearing or breaking apart.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. Okay, I need to see that.
yeah, I'll show you that. But I guess we'll kind of just wrap up here. Um, like I said, it was very fun watching this with you, hearing your reactions throughout.
Oh, it was
Um,
great.
it's
I'm
great hearing other people's thought, or not just thoughts, but like throughout the show, just hearing their reactions to certain moments where you're just like, "Oh crap," or "Hell yeah." Um, it's just so much fun just hearing what you had to say about it. But
I,
overall, what would you give the show rating wise, and would you recommend it?
show rating right. Wait, rating wise, I give it a 9 out of 10. And I highly recommend this show. It is fantastic. I might watch it again. Um, but yeah, no, I'm gonna tell people like, hey, you need to watch this. Do you watch anime? Because I don't watch it. It's so good. Like next during our watch through, we're gonna watch Death Note. Matt has not seen this yet.
So
This
this is gonna be a new journey for me.
Yeah, this will be my second time watching it, so that'll probably be your next review you guys are gonna get. But oh my gosh, I can't wait! I can't wait to hear your reactions to that show. Like,
Yeah, so you could probably expect a video on that soon.
yeah, expect that very soon. So we're gonna. I think it's half the length of Full Metal, so
So we might get through it pretty quickly.
yeah, depends how our watching habits are gonna be, but
I think that pretty much wraps up the video right there. I know it was a little bit of a different style than my other videos, but I kind of wanted to get Joey's reaction to his first time watching Brotherhood. So, do you want to go ahead and plug your social medias?
yeah. So you guys can actually find me over on I think every platform at Blue Jay Gaming. Of course, go check out my YouTube channel, which Matt will probably have in the description down below. And if you don't know, we actually are on a podcast called the Yes Perfect Podcast on the Team 8-Bit YouTube channel, or it's also available on Spotify and all podcast platforms. Yes Perfect Podcast. We're actually coming up on our 1 year of doing it, so
Yes,
yeah.
and to go with that, we also have a YouTube channel called Team 8-Bit, where it's just a group of us guys having a good time and talking about some things and making videos. But yeah, don't forget to subscribe to my channel as well, but go subscribe to Joey too. Hit the like button and comment down below just kind of what you thought after your first viewing and maybe how many times you watched it, or am I the only crazy one who watched it more than once? But yeah, we're gonna wrap it up there. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Later.
See you guys.